Hello everyone. All right, okay, so are you ready to actually now make your first actual real website page? Okay, so you should have done all your experiments now. You should have had a good play around with the sections on your experiment page and a really good play around with the blocks, and you should have figured out what you actually like, which of the layouts of those kind of blocks that would suit your content that you've been thinking about this last few days and everything else. Okay, so first things first, like I said, we don't tend to start with the homepage first. We tend to leave the homepage till last. So the page that we're going to start out with, first of all, today is contact page. Okay, so let's edit the contact page. All right, okay, so you should already have your header image in there from doing your header images the other day. All right, if you haven't, then go watch that video and that will show you how to create some header images and you can have a play around. If you don't want to create header images over in Canva and you've just got some photos, you can always just click on image and upload an actual photo and then play around with kind of how you need to do it, whether you need to hit fill or tile or whatever to get it to fill that space for you. Okay. Obviously, again, as well, using that, you can then change how deep your header is going to be. So we're going to go, it is actually, I know you can't probably tell on screen, but it is telling me roughly what that is. So it's saying that's about 140 pixels at the moment. Might go down to, we go 160. There we go. Okay, right, so what on earth are we going to put on our contact page? All right, so first things first, header. I've had a little play around and basically in this version of the beta of the MailChimp, it's not great on actually letting you get your logo bigger. Okay, so that seems to just be the standard size for your logo. It's not great, but obviously just have a play around with the different versions of your logos that you've got. You could always go with your avatar version. Yeah, or you could always go with your vertical version. And as you can see, that makes it a little bit bigger. Obviously, then it does have a little bit of a knock-on effect on the actual navigation there. So you may, again, if you're doing that, actually want to have a play around with it. Okay, and again, to do that, it would be a case of playing around with your navigation around here. So it could just be that the spacing is off a little bit, which hasn't really changed that much. So let's have a look. Header. So let's have a go at just increasing that a little bit. There we go. Okay, so that could be the way to go. Yeah. No, so that we definitely don't want. That's made everything go down, so we don't want that. So I'm just going to hit save. There we go. Okay, so it's one of those things. Just have a play around with those different settings until you get it right. But remember, when you're doing it, hit publish every now and again. Okay, refresh the page, and then obviously then you can kind of see where it all is and whether it works. And obviously it depends, like I said, on which version of your logo that you've popped in there and everything else. Like I said, I'm sure that that's going to change because this is just the beta version of MailChimp's website builder at the moment. So yes, there's going to be a few little things like this, but it doesn't stop us getting online right now for our business side hustle or for our community project this week. Okay, so don't get all perfectionist about it. Let's just get something up. Okay, so back to the contact page. All right, so let's just say that I've had a right good play around and I'm happy with my header now. Okay, so header image is already in there. And I've already had a little play with that. I deleted the text that comes standard in that box already, and I've just changed it to let's chat. And I've actually already increased the size in that. I've actually changed it up to 60, which is slightly bigger than our normal heading ones. Okay. And then the other thing that I've done is we can't actually add contact forms yet in here, but that's okay. What you can do is you can actually choose email address instead. So I'm going to show you how to do that on another button further down, and you do exactly the same thing, but basically you would change your button text to maybe send message or send email, and then the link bit you'd actually select email address, pop in your email address, pop in what you want it to say when you receive that email. So I tend to do things like message from website or message from contact page, so that you know when you see that in your inbox, you know that is actually a message that's come directly from your website. Okay, and then hit obviously save on that. Okay, so what other things are we going to pop? So the things that you can do is if you've actually got a business, then you could pop your opening hours in there. Okay, you could also pop either your shop address or your office address, or if you work from home, obviously by law we're meant to still put our address that we work from, but instead you can just put snail mail or something so that people know, yes, they can write to you there, but you don't just want them turning up on your doorstep kind of thing. Okay. Obviously the other thing that you can want to pop on there is all your contact details. So it's going to be your telephone number. Again, like I said, don't pop your email address, like use the button so that at least your email address is a bit hidden, so it'll help with anyone trying to just find out your email address and spam you. So yeah, so basically that's what we're going to do on this button over here. The other kind of information obviously is all your social links and everything like that. You may also want to include, if this is more of a community page, then you may want to include things like the meeting times that you normally meet up, and at the moment when you meet up and have a Zoom chat together instead. You're also on the module 6, we're going to learn how to create buttons that will link over to Calendly for people to book a call, be it by telephone or via Zoom meeting. So we're going to cover that in module 6. The other thing that you could do is you could just use one of these blocks and actually change it to FAQs, and just, if there's a few frequently asked questions that you know that clients are going to ask you, instead of having them email you about it, why not just add a few FAQs onto your site? Okay, and then that way it'll kind of speed up the process, and they won't have to wait for you to get back to them via the email that they've just sent you. And then the subscriber thing as well, but again we're going to cover that in module 4. So we're just going to leave the subscribe bit alone for the moment, because yeah, we don't want it on every single page on our website, but I do think on the home page and on the contact page is still a good place to have the sign up buttons or forms like this for whatever your opt-in is, or your newsletter, or anything else. Okay, so so that's what you need to pop on your contact page. So it's a case of literally changing and messing around with these. Obviously, so you would paste what your Twitter is, and if you don't want Twitter, then you would change it to any of your other things. So it might be that you change it to your LinkedIn. You may want to change it to your YouTube channel, like whatever your social media things are. Then pop the links in, and then that way it's really easy for people to basically stalk you on social media, which is what we want to do for businesses and again for community groups. And again, just play around with the settings. There's lots of different versions of this. We can have it going vertical, okay? We can have it going horizontal. We can even change what color it is. So if with your color scheme that you've gone with, having something where it's not actually in color would look better, then they're your options that you can go for there. Okay. You can also change it to just outlines. All right. So there's so many options that you've got in here when you actually play around with it. You've got fit to size. So that would be when you've got it possibly within a smaller area, then it would only fill that area instead of all of it. You've got alignment as well. There you go. So there's quite a lot to play around with on that. You can have both icon and text as well. Okay. Or even just change it to text only. But I do, personally, I recommend the icons at least. And then if you want to, you can have icons and text. But I'm going to go with just icon only. And I'm going to go with a little bit bigger and in the black and white. There we go. Okay. All right. So obviously, again, contact number, pop in your actual phone number. Okay. Like I said, pop in your real address. And these things you can move around. All right. You can always take those blocks and move them into the different containers. Okay. So you're not stuck with everything just being in those pre-existing containers. This is split into two, so you can just move those around. Now, the other thing I was going to show you is how do you set up that email address. Okay, so I personally would say change it to say send email. Okay, then on the link to, instead of us sending them anywhere else, we're just going to say email address. And then pop in what your email address is. Okay, and I always go with my main generic one that I don't mind anybody and everybody knowing, okay, just so that it cuts down on spam to my normal email address. And then the message subject, I would literally put, so message from contact page or message from website, you know, it can be anything so that you know that's where it's come from. And then hit save and close, okay. So yeah, so basically just have a play. Like I said, you might want to add, you know, like your opening hours and things. So if I change that to 2 column, we can have a play around. And so, you know, opening hours. So Monday, you know, you might be open. Let's do that in the other one. So we'll just put Monday. We'll do Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay. And then what we can then do is you can either do some spaces next to it, or if you want to keep it really, really neat, then you could in the second column, which you click on there, is I don't know, say 9 till 5. Okay. And then yeah, just do that all the way down. So just whatever your opening hours are, and I'm just going to cheat. There we go. Okay, so that's a really simple, quick and easy way to do your opening hours. All right, that looks neat and tidy. And you could do the same if that was a community group and you were doing meeting times and things like that. To do the FAQs, then let's say we could change this to FAQs. Okay. Okay, now this is already an image and text block that's actually the testimonials, and unfortunately we can't actually delete the image from that bit. So if you don't have images that you'd want to add for those FAQs, I mean, you could create a little graphic or something like that could be like numbers, number 1, number 2, number 3, or, you know, an image that was appropriate for each FAQ. But otherwise, if not, then instead what we can do is we can just grab an actual text box. We'll bring that over. Okay, and then we can change it I don't know, 2 columns maybe, just to thingy it, and we'll do those as equal. All right, and then you just start typing your FAQ. So the question could be, I don't know, do you sell other brands? You know, it could be anything. Now, what I would do is for the question part is I'd actually make that possibly a heading font. So let's go with a heading, maybe a 2, or if it needs to be a bit smaller, you've got heading 3, and then obviously you've got heading 4 as well in there. Okay, so I actually think we can get away with possibly the heading 3, but again, this is down to you and how you've set up your style and everything else. Okay, so then underneath that, I will then just do normal text, and it would be, yes, we sell so whatever your answer is, okay, for that particular thing. Now, to speed then this process up, okay, guys, then cheat. So I'm going to hit return, and then I'm going to paste, and then I'm going to hit return, and I'm going to paste, okay? And then I would then go over to the second column, all right, and I would do the same over there. So I've kind of used my first question now as my template to then make the rest of the questions. All right, and it's as easy as that. Then I would then delete this block here. So we're just going to hit delete block. It's going to say, are you really sure? So I'm going to say yes, because we don't have testimonials that we're going to add on there. We've replaced it with the FAQs. All right, and then all you would then need to do is just go in and change what those questions are and what then the answers are there on your FAQ bit. All right, now hopefully you've also changed your design, so you know you may have a background on that, so it makes it stand out a little bit. All right, but yeah, there you go. So that's how you could also add some FAQs to your contact page. Obviously, we've already gone over how you can add some opening hours, and again, you know, make these things so that your titles are the same and it all looks neat and tidy and everything else. All right, we're going to go over the book a call thing with Calendly in module 6. Obviously, you know how to add your address and everything else. All right, okay, so is it appropriate to have an about? Some people do have a mini about on their contact page. So if you really think that you want to give them any extra information on your contact page, then yes, of course, you can use this block and add it. And it obviously doesn't have to contain an image if you don't want it to. Obviously, you don't have to call it about, because in here you can just change that to whatever it is that specific information is. Okay, so obviously I'm going to leave that down to you guys, what you want to do on that. But then basically when you've then actually decided that you don't need a particular section, then we just delete it. So like I said, ignore the subscribe bit, just leave that one alone for the moment. But if you're then genuinely happy that you don't need the rest, then we're just going to delete those blocks. Okay, and we're going to delete. All right, and it's actually asking us to drop content blocks in there, but we're okay. We're not going to do that. We're leaving that one. We're leaving the FAQs. We're leaving the contact, and I'm also going to delete that. All right, okay. So I'm hoping that you'll have made this all look really nice, really pretty. We'll go with your thing. Now, the other thing that you can do is, like I said, to then make things stand out a little bit is change your backgrounds, you know, to those particular things. So I don't know, let's go with that. And then what I then could have done is then done a kind of background color on these. Which, if you remember, is actually within the sections. Okay, unless you use the box text bit. All right, so I'm just going to go to the contact section in this one, and we're going to go, we're going to add, I think we'll add a white overlay, and we'll make that go up a little bit. Okay, so can you see how now the text actually is a lot more readable. There we go. Okay, and I'm actually going to go with that effect instead of actually adding that white background, which would have done that. Okay, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go with that effect instead. All right, and there you go. So that would be your contact page. So like I said, add things on like opening hours, your address or snail mail, meeting times if you're doing a community group, book a call if you're a business or you're offering your hobby service, FAQs, and then create these send message buttons or send email buttons because at the moment they don't actually have a contact form. Okay, so there you go. So we're just going to hit publish and we're going to see what that looks like on the live website. Okay, so now as you can see, it's also got those sections there. So if we actually went back and deleted those, then that wouldn't actually be there as well. So to do that, I'm just going to quickly go back into contact. And where it says drop any contacts here, we're just going to hit remove. And it's literally just going to get rid of it. Okay, and we're going to do the same on that one. Okay, and then we just hit publish again. And refresh. And there we go. That's it. That's the contact page. Obviously my design is not great. Please don't copy my design on this. But I'm just trying to show you, like, they're the kind of things that you can pop in, how you can do it. Obviously you need to take a bit of time. You need to think about what that content is that you're going to put on each of these pages. But I'm just trying to show you how you actually go about doing it. All right. So yeah, so have fun. So then once you've created your contact page, then do a screenshot, add it to the Facebook group. I'd really, really like to see how you've done, or if there's anything that you stuck on, let us know in the live Zoom or over in the Facebook group and I can help you out. All right, see you in the next video. Bye.